So, beautiful question. What are we doing today? Thank you for the question, and thank you for coming. Glad you're here. Today is an extraordinarily special day for Souls Enterprise, which is a collective of spiritual seekers and practitioners and facilitators and beautiful flowers. We get together and climb high and dive deep. And on this day, March 13th last year, Souls Enterprise was born, was birthed. We consulted an astrocartographer, awesome astrology guy who said March 13th, 2021 at 6 a.m. Pacific time is the time to launch. And we were in Costa Rica at the time, so it was 8 a.m. for us. And there was a birth of Souls Enterprise, which is us and what we bring together. We spent a lot of time with a lot of C's that came: curiosity and camaraderie and co-creation. And what we came to for Souls Enterprise was connection, compassion, and consciousness. So those are our three biggest C's. And right up there, and one of our biggest values and priorities is collaboration. Very, very important to us that Souls Enterprise is co-created. So that's why we sit in a circle, be it in person and or online. We have everything hybrid. So wherever we are in the world, it's in person and online. So it's really connecting that way. And we like to begin every event with an invocation just to set the energy and set ourselves and arrive. So we can just take a moment here and arrive. Like we're saying, this is the 1 year anniversary celebration of Souls Enterprise. So there's celebration in the air. And as we prepare to invoke, it's really arriving here in the moment. It's a moment of festivity and co-creating. But in the past, fall away and just be in the past. And the future, releasing that, whatever that may look like, let that be as we arrive here. Maybe breathing a little bit deeper than normal, arriving into our body, arriving into our chair. And at Souls Enterprise, with this connection, we like to first and foremost connect with ourselves. Connect with the sirens if they're going on around us in our ears. And as we connect with ourselves, we can expand out and connect with each other right here in this beautiful circle. These open hearts, in person and online. One circle of us, right around a dozen people here together, this beautiful 1 year anniversary morning. Connecting with each other here for this hour or so we spend together, celebrating, sharing, diving in, co-creating, really feeling that connection, our hearts opening, being together. And as we connect with ourselves and connect with each other in this Souls Enterprise circle that we're creating, if it feels right and safe, we can let that connection move out a little bit to the world, the collective, the people around us. some tough times in Ukraine and abroad, some tough times with medical stuff going on, and the big picture, living and dying, and connect with all of that going on.
And in honor of all of those who have come before us, just taking a moment to acknowledge that wherever we are in the world, there were other inhabitants here before us, whether it is the plant kingdom, the rocks, the minerals, the animals, the four-leggeds, the winged ones, as well as our ancestors, directly and indirectly. So we call in all of the directions and all of the energies that can provide support when we need it, can be our cheerleaders when we need that. Just allowing ourselves to open up and feel and receive the support that is there so powerfully that if we just take a breath and make a little space for it, it can arrive here as well.
And with that, we also like to invoke our teachers, those, like Karunadara was saying, ancestors who have sat in these circles for so long, set up this space, all the way showers, all of the soothsayers, truthsayers, thank you. Inviting all of them in, connecting with them, and their wisdom, supporting our wisdom and our sharing and our openness. And last but not least, connecting with Source, God, divinity, the sacred, whichever word you like for the wordless, for the unnameable. Invoking that here now to support us, to be with us.
And if there's anyone that feels called to invoke, please add your voice.
Well, the formless and the eternal are always with us.
The formless and the eternal.
Yes.
Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you.
And actually, I should give people the opportunity to unmute.
Unmute, please.
Whoops. Oh, you already, okay. So anyone online, if you want to unmute and share at this point or any other point, but for now, if there's anything you feel called to invoke.
If there's anything, great, where invocation is welcome, and as a form of meeting and what's the word? Order. Name-wise, haven't met yet. My name is Prasad, and if we could go around the circle and say just our name and hello, that would be awesome for those who haven't met yet.
We go that way.
That way.
Okay. Hi, I'm Steve.
And over here.
Hi, I'm Irene.
Irene,
Nice to meet you.
nice to meet you.
My factory name is Susan. My soul name is Aura.
Ora.
I'm Kimberly.
I'm sorry, I totally missed that.
Kimberly.
Samuel.
Karuna Dara.
I'm sorry, I missed that.
Karuna Dara.
Karuna. Okay. Prasad
Prasad. Yes.
and Steve.
And online we have
Online, can you maybe go alphabetically and unmute yourselves and say hello?
Marie.
Hi,
Yeah.
Marie.
Hey, Marie.
I don't know what alphabetical is. But hi, everyone. I'm happy to be here. I'm Heidi.
Heidi.
Alphabetical made me laugh too. I'm Lindsay. Nice to meet everybody.
Hi, Lindsay.
Thank you, Lindsay. Okay.
I'm gonna get a hat.
Okay.
Excuse me.
So I think before we go into sharing, we just have some updates and announcements about some of the flow that Souls Enterprise is in. So for those of you that are with us for the first time, Prasad and I started Souls Enterprise together a year ago exactly. And we were, like you said, in Costa Rica. And
How did you choose the name?
we'll go into that maybe a little bit
I'm
later.
sorry?
Can we go into that a little bit later? Would that be
Sure,
okay? Yeah,
absolutely.
thank you. And a lot has shifted over the course of the year. Some of you are very aware of those shifts. So as a result of all of that, where we are today is that I will be taking a break from Souls Enterprise for at least a couple of months is what is present in our field at this juncture. And the main way that impacts anybody else in the community is that I think Instagram, so our social media account only for Instagram, will change and it will no longer be Souls Enterprise. It will be me and whatever that becomes. One of the other things that means is Prasad and I are still really open to collaborating or working together. We're just not sure how that will look in the future. So we'll see. We'll see where that takes us. Did I miss anything on the impact or the result of what that might look like?
Well, yeah, just announcements wise, next Sunday at 10 a.m. Pacific, next Sunday is Men's Transcendation.
And women's
And women's
So
transcendation.
I'll still hold space. That will be my last event for now.
Yes.
They're both happening on the same day.
Yeah.
They both have the
We're
same
doing a
day.
breakout.
We'll do breakout rooms. So Men's Transcendation next Sunday.
I'm sorry, trans what?
Transcendation.
Oh, transcendation. Okay.
Yes. At Souls Enterprise, we do transcendation, which is transcending and celebration.
Transcending what?
That which needs to be transcended.
Which is, I think, exactly what we're doing in this moment. Transcending the
Am I
space
asking
we
too
were.
many questions?
No.
No, we love the questions. Yeah.
Okay.
Not at all.
Okay.
No such thing as too many questions.
Okay.
Yeah. We just wanted to get through the announcements and then we'll dive into all the questions. But
No problem.
yeah,
Yeah.
question away.
Yeah.
So yeah, next week, Men's Transcendation and Women's Transcendation. The big thing, the big request is that with the Instagram shift, that everyone re-like Souls Enterprise.
Yeah, we'll share the new account with
Yeah.
you. And
We'll update all of that. We'll Souls Enterprise being based upon collaboration and co-creation. We will see what the future holds. It's a great, great unknown. Oh, and then the other big announcement. Today is our 1-year anniversary of Souls Enterprise. Next year, March 2023, is our 2-year anniversary, and we're going to have an incredible retreat in Costa Rica, March 9th through 14th, where it all started. We're going to go back next year. Please save the dates, March 9th through 14th, Souls Enterprise retreat in Costa Rica at the incredible Imaloa Institute that Karuna Dara and I found, and it's going to be amazing. So please do save those dates. And I believe that's it for announcements.
Mhm.
Yeah. So then we can dive in with questions and sharings and updates. I have a ton from the last year, and everyone who knows me knows I can talk. So I try and not go first.
Well, can you say, can you say a little bit about Amos, because it's kind of that flavor, the container, to like what is the topic, and I think that'll help clarify our style of sharing, Prasad.
Sure. So before Souls Enterprise was born on March 13th last year, a year before that, March of 2020, when COVID hit and everyone was talking about lockdown and we were preparing to lockdown, I just felt and knew immediately this isn't going to be good for connection. This is going to be very disconnecting.
Yeah.
So Amos was born. Amos is an acronym for a meeting of souls. Right in March, when I heard lockdown and coronavirus, I knew that there was going to be disconnection and separation. And this is before everyone knew Zoom, and Zoom was common. I actually knew Zoom. I invited all my friends, everyone I knew, hey, let's get together. Let's stay connected. Let's have this meeting of souls. So March of 2020, Amos was born, a meeting of souls. A casual, informal, we like to say spiritual party. So it's getting together and sharing, and as opposed to talking about the weather or the traffic or whatever I call superficial stuff, Amos is getting together and sharing what's actually really alive, the depths, and just diving in that way. So that was born March of 2020, and that thank you, Samuel, for helping share that with Sacred Friends, and people were getting together with Amos. And then when we left for Costa Rica in October of 2020, we were really called to expand and offer some ecstatic dance and breath work and this group transcendation, where a little bit more structure to our transformational work. But this Amos, a meeting of souls, is our casual, relaxed, informal spiritual gathering while still being deep. So that's the structure of Amos, to share and dive in and enjoy each other spiritually and casually simultaneously.
Yeah, and then back to the word transcendation, that's kind of the umbrella of transcending and celebrating. That's kind of the common thread whenever we hear someone share. It's just an opportunity and an invitation to, we hear you celebrating this, right? Or we could celebrate together if we've seen progress within each other, for those of us that have been around for a while. Or maybe it's a moment in life that's calling us forward into transcendation or transcending. Yeah.
What if there's nothing you need to transcend?
Great.
Then we celebrate.
Celebrate.
Nice. We're happy to celebrate with you.
Would you like to start? I mean, you kind of have the floor with that. Just share what's in your heart.
No, you have to give it a structure for me to
Okay.
pull something out.
Okay.
Okay, would you like to share if there's anything you've
Pauline.
transcended lately?
Oh, you're
Pauline.
Okay.
I've been having initiations every morning. I get up around 6. I just sit in meditation deeply. And I have found that all the sacred divine grandmothers are working overtime for the opening of the hearts of the women in forgiveness to the violence perpetrated. That as we open our hearts to sacred divine feminine Christ consciousness, because there's a feminine aspect as well as a masculine aspect. That I did not know until now. That it actually comes together in the Sacred Heart within. And that's what Mother Mary's Sacred Heart is all about. I never understood that because I wasn't Catholic. I'm sure the Catholics don't understand it that way either. But this is the new energies that are coming to unite the sacred divine, feminine and masculine in our relationships and in our bodies to anchor it on the Earth Mother and the grid around the Earth for our transformation to bring in the new golden age. I'm like, whoa, I just sat in that for 3 days and gave thanks. I was like, but I actually have seen the grid, I've seen energy and lights going into it, and it's happening now. So make your prayers with intention for opening up your heart and joining the male and the female Christ consciousness within your heart, that you may be peaceful within yourself, peaceful within all relationships, and peaceful on the planet in all communities where you travel, and recognize everywhere you step is holy ground as we birth this new consciousness and usher in the new golden age.
Pauline, that was exquisite.
Thank you, Pauline.
I
Sit
love
in
your-
that.
Did everyone online hear that?
Okay.
Fantastic.
Birds heard it too.
And birds heard it too. Woo. Yeah, thank you, Pauline. I'm feeling into the masculine and feminine of Christ consciousness. Yeah, and the newness of that. And coming together. Wow. Birds are digging it too.
What?
Now, when you give birth to some of those initiations that come through the divine mothers and the grandmothers, you can feel weird things in your body. Like you feel like every cell kind of going at warp speed. You might feel slightly dizzy, but then you integrate it and anchor it and ground yourself to the earth. And if you need to, get out on the grass and lay your belly and heart to the earth. You can actually feel your heartbeat beat with the beat of the mother.
Very cool.
It's amazing. Or you can just stand barefoot in the dirt or the sand to ground yourself. And drink lots of water for purification.
Lots of water and gets you to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
Ha
Wow. You want to come sit here? You're speaking so well. Oh my goodness.
I need to
Amazing.
stay in
I
the
taught her.
shade.
Oh, you're taking credit, right? Go on, more. We want more. We want more of your newfound or always known knowledge. We want to hear more.
Well, I've always been spiritual, but the truth is, I always thought that the Christ consciousness was from Jesus, because I grew up a Christian child. And as I began to expand into working with shamans and hanging with the Dalai Lama and being a rainbow walker in spirit, all of a sudden I realized that there's a collective. It's not just one. All the avatars are coming back now. And I was told in spirit, in meditation, that a lot of us now that are here are ascended masters from the other golden angels, like Atlantis, Egypt, and we're all coming back now to give birth again because we hold in our DNA these higher frequencies, these knowingness that we've already transcended, that we had forgotten and separated ourselves from the sacred divine that we are, that is within each and every one of us. So we're all giving birth to that again. And as we do, we're going to join our hearts, our minds, and really create the heaven on earth, first within our own beings, with our relationships, and the whole planet. And that's what we're living into now. This is an awesome time to be here. We came for this. This is our mission and why we're here now. That birth that new integrated Christ consciousness of the divine, feminine, and masculine, and to usher in the new golden spiritual age. It's like, there's great hope, there's great joy. And make sure you have some joy each day. Joy in communion with spirit. Joy with communion with your animals, with the plants and watering your gardens and watching them grow. And be in an attitude of gratitude always. We're on target.
From your mouth to God's ear. Beautiful. Inspirational. I want it to be true.
It is.
It is.
It is.
It
It is.
is.
It is.
It is. It is.
Yeah, and each and every one of us are the I am presence that has come here with the divinity within form in third dimension. We're not just these lower unworthy people we think we are. We are high true masters coming back to make changes because of the separation. We forgot who we were and always have been. And we are always loved and beloved in spirit and worthy because we are that spirit divinity in a form.
Well, I'll share a little bit about where I am today, because the part that speaks to me the most in this moment is I've had a lot of insights lately, and it's been quite an uncomfortable year. Like, I've been sitting in a lot of discomfort since the end of last year. And part of it was the huge contrast between feeling like I was in a lot of flow the months leading up to that, and then it changed. And that's all I could say. So neither good, bad, no judgments on it, but it feels really uncomfortable. And there's unknown, and there's this constant contraction, and then openness, and nothing feels quite stable inside, outside, etc. But today I was really feeling into the I want to say nature of abundance or something, like what that's like in me currently, and which came out of the reflection of noticing different layers, different to me anyway, of where I was in lack, where I've been in lack, whether it's mostly around relationships, actually, mostly around the supply of love in a way, feeling like that is limited, whether it's receiving it, catching it when it's actually there, or when it's very present, because it's always there. Where and how do I access it? How am I limiting those spaces in intimacy? And it could be really tiny moments with a stranger or a neighbor, or it could be really big or would feel like big moments and nights of conversation and experience. I'm looking at these two because we had an experience recently. But today, I guess I'm wondering, together with you all, the role of contrast feels alive, like, and contrast doesn't really have a judgment or an evaluation. It's just out of noticing, oh, I was coming from a place of lack there in that situation, and I can feel the contrast with what it's like to be in the same or similar situation, but come from a place of feeling the abundance in the moment, which is really, really different. So, and it feels expansive. It feels expansive even to go back and forth between the contraction and the expansion. So maybe I'm also recognizing a little bit of letting go of the idea that it always has to feel expansive, that even the contraction is in service to the bigger thing. I don't know what the bigger thing is that I'm talking about in this moment, and that's such a different definition to me of abundance.
It's like the in-breath and the out-breath of God. It's like our in-breath and our out-breath. You have to have both. Just like you can't have light without darkness and darkness without light, because we're in duality. But our goal is to get out of the duality into the oneness of all that is and just to surrender to it.
But then you
And then you're a magnet.
But once you get out of the duality, you cease to exist.
No, not true. Then you can create any possibility you want and shape into whatever energy you want.
And there's no night and day anymore? And there's no black and white anymore?
In consciousness, you resolve the
In
opposites.
consciousness,
You
everything's
resolve the
all happening at
opposites.
once.
You
And you can
resolve the
choose
opposites.
and create
You
what you
resolve
want.
the opposites
In consciousness.
in
And
consciousness.
then you're in consciousness, you're not in duality.
What, consciousness is the opposite of duality?
It's not an opposite,
It's a
it's
state of grace.
I'm sorry?
A state of grace.
Oh, yeah.
it is. It doesn't have qualities, it is. It's beyond duality.
That's a beautiful word, the resolution.
The resolution.
The resolution of duality, resolution of night and dark. Yeah, all the opposites, all the things, resolving it. That's the possibility with consciousness, if I hear you
So
correctly.
there's no more male and female, there's just oneness.
No, there's male and female, but you're not caught by it. See,
Oh.
you're
Is that,
You're
they're not in
talking about
conflict.
Transcending.
They're transcending.
I'm
you're not
lost.
caught
I'm
in the
lost.
sense of separation.
Well, that's okay. That's exactly it.
That, oh, then you're lost?
No,
in
you're
the-
not lost.
Well,
found.
but you being lost in this moment is perfect, is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. Well, that's true.
Yeah. And just being there. Just be in the lostness for now.
For sure.
And it will pass through into the divine again. And it's continually, when all the shit comes up, just surrendering to the divine to come back in and to fill you up in your grace with love.
I find the word gratitude, when I might be going through something, I just say the word gratitude and immediately I shift. Because I've heard that words can actually affect your DNA. There's certain words.
Could you speak a hair louder, please?
There's
Yeah.
certain words that just shift your DNA. You just say that
Shifts
word,
your DNA?
yeah, and you say that word and suddenly you're not in that whatever you're in, and you're in this quality, because it's a quality of something, you know. Gratitude is a whole, it's almost like a being.
Right. I am love, I am love, I am love. That's my mantra when I get there.
Uh-huh.
I am love, I am love, I am love. And because love is the highest frequency and the highest birth.
Yeah, gratitude works for me for some reason. I don't know, it shifts.
They kind of go together, like the front and back.
And I
of that
find
point.
if my mind is going to places I don't want, I can say, my mind holds only what I think with love. My mind holds only what I think with love. Because actually you can only think one thing at a time. So that phrase knocks the other information out.
I would love to invite anyone online. Sometimes it gets a little interesting to maneuver the hybrid situation, but if anyone feels called to share related, non-related, Heidi, I see your hand.
Hey, yeah, I'd love to share. And then I'm probably going to get back on the road and I'll hold space as I drive across New Mexico. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, I was here exactly a year ago. I set my alarm for 6 a.m. I was really excited that you guys were starting this venture. I've been watching you throughout the year and I'm just thrilled for both of you. I know that times are difficult and you're taking a break, but I'm really glad that you're sticking with it. And I just wanted to thank both of you for the work that you've put into making this happen. And I wanted to just kind of, because in the context of what we're doing today, kind of check in and tell you where I'm at. I'm on my way to visit my parents. And that always brings up, difficult, challenging feelings. I've been working with Prasad for the last year, really very consistently. He's helped me tremendously extricate myself from a very toxic marriage and get in touch with kind of the inner child. I've been doing a lot of healing in that regard. And so now, unlike a year ago, being with my family, I'm going with more self-awareness and recognition of the importance of having boundaries. around some of their toxic behaviors. And so it's always like a year ago, I could have gone to see my family and it would have been no big deal. And I would have just had a good time and gone with the flow. And now I'm going with like all this angst. Like, how am I going to navigate what I now understand is necessary for my own integrity and my own healing, like my mother's drinking, and like, how am I going to be with that? And, things are shifting. It's been a really difficult year. I totally get what you're saying, Karuna Dara. It's been a lot of tears, a lot of grief, and a lot of healing. And so I love also the holding of the space for this. I don't know who it is who is speaking, Pauline. Maybe the other side, which is the sacred, that, and the joy, that's also available. And that's one of my favorite things about the process of transcendation, is that there's that holding space for celebration. So I won't say any more about it, but thank you all very much. It's lovely to be here, and I'm probably going to turn my camera off and keep driving. So thank you.
I love you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Keep your hands on the wheel.
Drive safe.
Yeah, I will. I won't lie. Thanks.
We're not ready to transcend driving yet.
Exactly.
Yeah, we'll celebrate the big. I'll share after everyone else, but the big. What I hear you and got to experience and share with you is the growth this year and shifts this year for you. Yeah, I really celebrate that with you. Thank you. And also, I wanted to dive in just for a moment from what Pauline was awesomely sharing, and then this lack and abundance, for lack of a word, dichotomy, and resolving it, the resolution of that, because, I can feel lack. I'm just getting curious from a feeling state, like what lack feels like, right? And what abundance
I mean, you did
feels like. Yeah, exactly. There's a contraction. Yeah, yep. And then what abundance feels like, right? And for lack of a better word, transcending it to the resolution, what if there's both, and the dance between the two. And yeah, it's just, in this moment, it's a fun exploration. So yeah, thank you.
And it can be. It's like the emptying of a cup and the filling up of a cup. You have to empty the cup so you can fill it again. And the filling of it, you get new insights, new joy, new love. More things come to you. You act as a magnet when you're in those higher states, or whatever you choose to create in your life.
That's a good analogy. When you're feeling lack, you could just see an empty cup.
There's not a lot of judgment there, right?
No.
It just
It's
is.
like an open vessel.
Yeah. And there's possibility in an empty cup. You can fill it with whatever you want.
And birth itself involves a lot of contraction.
Literally, right?
Literally.
I'm not giving
I'm
birth,
very
but-
literal.
I wouldn't know.
And we're birthing a new spiritual being.
On that, I want to say another thing. We are physical, mental, spiritual beings. We don't have to try to be physical beings. We don't have to try to be mental beings. And we don't have to try to be spiritual beings. We are those three.
All right, I'm going to take this from the high-minded, esoteric down to the practical.
Sure.
Bring it down to practical.
So, okay, just let me have a little bit of space here. So, okay, I've been playing with the idea, yes, along the lines of like, I am the fullness of the allness in the nowness of this moment, right? That is a truth. That is a whole truth. And I've been entrusted with this human to take care of. And this human has some limitations. And when I go back, I'll get to the practical thing in a second, but when I go back and forth between those two, it's like, okay, when I'm feeling those limitations, when I'm feeling the contractions as the drop in the ocean, I can go back to the ocean itself and resolve those things. And like, okay, yes, I'm feeling this in this moment, but the bigger truth is I am the all, right? So I'm in a relationship And there's a lot of dissonance right now between what I desire and what I'm experiencing. And there's definitely some lack there. There's a sense of lack. Like I don't feel like I'm getting enough. And my journey has been navigating, okay, yes, the ultimate truth is I am all, what I desire is already mine. That sense of aliveness, a fulfilling, ever expanding aliveness is mine all the time. I have access to that all the time. But I still have this human to take care of, and she has needs. You know, I have this human who you know is experiencing some pain in this area, and so it's like, okay, this is a new relationship, relatively new relationship, and I've just been navigating how to take care of my human while staying grounded and connected to source. And it's challenging. It's super challenging. But it helps me to know that I have a home to return to, that home within myself, within the allness. That's what grounds me, to then return back to the 3D, return back to this man, and say, okay, if I really believe that all of my needs are already met, how would I show up in this relationship? How would I show up in this moment? And I've been learning a lot of practical shit, practical communication stuff, practical conflict resolution stuff, practical inner child stuff, like practical nervous system regulation stuff. That, you know, it's like, okay, this is the juice right here, man. This is where the rubber meets the fucking road, you know? Like this is aliveness. Even in the challenge, this is aliveness. Aliveness isn't always just bliss. Aliveness is like, what is actually the truth in this moment? What am I feeling? What am I sensing in my body? So I just wanted to express, like, yes, there's this beautiful esoteric truth that is absolutely true. And then there's how do we navigate our actual lives from moment to moment, relationship to relationship, conversation to conversation, feeling to feeling. How do we navigate that truth and incorporate it? So
You're doing it.
Wow.
You're doing it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And it's a moment by moment. For me, it's a moment by moment surrender of what is love leading me to do next? What is love leading me to do next? What is my good next step? Like, that's where the rubber meets the road. That's where my connection to source and how source speaks through my intuitive guidance system, that is the practical application.
Sometimes it's your free will and not making choices for your highest good that leaves you stuck in the shit.
True that.
So in that moment,
It's yet another thing to transcend.
call on your higher self to empower you to make a good choice.
Yep.
And use your free will to choose. You don't like what you chose, choose again. But love and forgive and honor yourself. With each choice, you learn a lesson, and it brings a gift.
And love may lead me at a certain point to say, this relationship has come to completion.
Yep.
You know, there are, you've learned everything you're meant to learn with this person, and it's time to move on. Even if that choice evokes pain in me and evokes pain in him. So I'm being open to that. Like I found myself, like I found my thoughts drifting towards the closure conversation. Not that I really want that necessarily, but I don't know if that's a hint, like I'm being prepared for that, or if it's just my wounding is like, oh, I just really want to get out of this hard situation. I don't know, but I don't have to know right now because I don't have a clear, good next step, and that's okay.
I mean, I resonate with the discomfort for sure.
And the uncertainty.
for me, the uncertainty causes the discomfort, right? And that, what I'm hearing reflected in those spaces where I can engage with what you're saying that is the work. When I hear it outside of myself, it's like, girl, you're doing it. Like, you're kind of asking us, but you're telling us how you're doing it.
Well, I wasn't really asking like, how do I do this? It was just like, this is the journey of how do we do this, and this is how I'm doing it.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you.
There's no right way or wrong way to do it.
No.
But you always must, keep yourself safe and keep connected to source for guidance.
Feels like fumbling towards,
Yeah.
at times in the
But the leap
moments.
across the void of no, because you don't know what's informed because it's not informed yet.
There's a dance group out here on the west side that is called Fumbling Towards Ecstasy, and that's what that reminds me of. It's that's a very practical way to do it in a container, is to do it in dance, and then you use the word dance quite a bit to or walk through dynamics, internal and external. So yeah, that's great.
And I was involved with an astrologer one time who would constantly have women coming to him saying, should I do this? Should I do that? Should I do? And he would say, you shouldn't do anything. Things will resolve without you doing something. Women are very controlling. Come in, sit down.
Yeah, men aren't
take your
controlling at
coat
all.
off. That's controlling. Take your coat off. Make yourself at home. That's controlling. So
Also,
I don't have a conclusion to that. I'm just saying that was his advice to women who said, well, I have these two, should I do this or should I? But don't do anything and see how it works out.
Yeah.
So another.
And I really resonated, Kimberly, with the uncertainty of not even knowing the next step or next decision. And like Karuna Dare was talking about, and for me at Big Year, the unknown. So I'm dancing into the relationship between uncertainty and unknown. Similar close cousins, but the little bit different flavor too.
How would you differentiate those two?
Well, for me now, it's the acceptance. The acceptance piece is huge. Not knowing the next step. Okay, fine. Uncertainty it's not clear, right? Unknown has some surrender possibility and some acceptance possibility. Okay, just wait. Or, well, I have to make a decision. Let's just hope it's the right one. So there's a trust factor too. It sounded kind of esoteric, but is this landing a little bit?
I mean, I think they're synonyms, but I hear the way you're differentiating it. So
Yeah. I mean, it's literally coming now. So I was just feeling into uncertainty. Uncertainty is like, I don't know. Unknown is don't need to know, right? And there's a trust. Uncertainty, I feel like kind of doubt and like, oh boy, I get anxious. Unknown, I'm like, okay, let's dive in and trust. That's what's coming up for me now, and I'm dancing with the resolution too of it. Like, and so what does resolution look like when I'm uncertain versus when I'm unknown? Like I personally can dive into the unknown easier than the uncertain. Uncertain, my masculine wants to go and make the correct decision, and I'm committed to that. So yeah, that's kind of the taste for me of uncertainty. That's coming up. So thank
the
you.
word unknown to me puts me like in a meditation. It's like, no, okay, we're good.
I think sometimes just that scariness is actually just the ego spazzing out. Because change is coming and it can't stay the same. It's like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to grow. I have to give up and surrender. Oh my God, what's gonna
I have
happen
to
to me?
leave my cocoon
Yeah.
and become a what? A butterfly? What's that?
I was just whispering, sorry. The sun is really strong, and because of the cables going on here, we would love to open the space up for online shares, because we can continue the party here maybe in the shade so that it's more comfortable. Speaking of the physical and practical, taking care of ourselves. So Lindsay, did you want to bring anything into the space? And maybe we'll close this in like 20 minutes or so.
Yeah.
Does that feel? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm new and I really enjoy the conversation. I loved what Pauline said actually when she was speaking. I had some emotional releases, some tears came to my eyes, and I felt my heart really heard and relates to her. Is that Pauline?
Oh, no. Susan.
Oh, that's, oh, can I see Pauline? Where is she? Is there a way to look?
She heard the call.
Hello.
Hi, Pauline. I really loved what you shared. It really hit me because I feel, you know, I'm going through that same experience and like you said, the heart opening, and there are moments in my days where my heart's just like shut, and I have to consciously, like somebody had said, you know, I am love. It's something similar, and it really helps consciously break that, like, you know, open it, break it open, be the oneness. So I really loved everything that was said, and like I said, it really pulled up some emotion for me. So I know what you were saying was speaking truth to the experience, not just for me, but I think the way you described it, you know, that we're the sacred feminine has been squished and squashed, and we're in this place in an evolutionary standpoint where our spiritual evolutionary standpoint rather, where we're opening, and even in ourselves, that opening is challenging. Like some people have said that, hey, they're going through difficult things and sometimes it's not clear and it's uncomfortable. And I just want to say I've also gone through that, especially through the past year and a half with COVID, because I've stayed in the United States the whole time through the whole COVID, you know, fear and all the stuff that comes along with it. And I have to be honest, like I have a twin sister and our birthday was a week ago. And we had our birthday party last night, and it was the first, there was like 80 people. It was the first party we've had in 3 years. And it felt to me, we had a blast. We rented dueling pianos. It was so awesome. And we were dancing and I felt like in my heart and what you said, Prasad, in the beginning, like, hey, this is a big year and this date. I feel like we're really finally breaking through this past 2-year cycle. And that party felt like it. I felt like in my mind, this is a end of COVID, no more COVID party. So anyway, I just wanted to share because that came up and as Prasad shared as well. So thank you, everybody. This has been really wonderful. And I appreciate you hearing me as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Lindsay. I really feel the old cliche, emotion is energy in motion, right? So I totally feel the movement in you. I'm really glad you made it today. Yeah, thank you, Lindsay.
And to add to that, you just took us through your journey of some of the things we've been talking about, of holding the contrast, like, oh, there's emotion and I'm teary-eyed, and now I'm in the celebration of last week, last night, today, and the space I'm in, and all of it can exist all at once. Like I'm like looking at it. We just talked about it, now I'm looking at it on the screen.
Yeah, and who was the woman that was talking about the truth incorporating into our lives, the practical aspect? Was that
Kimberly?
Okay. Yeah, Kimberly, I think you really hit on something because as you know, Pauline and you guys are talking about this transformation that we're undergoing, I too suffer, or not suffer, I don't want to use that word, but am trying to find ways to really like incorporate this in a daily, like practical, because I still have a mind, I still have a body, you know, we're still on earth. So I hear what you're saying there. To me too, there's a struggle of learning how to open and live in today's world with that open heart safely and confidently, and knowing that, you know, because I know on a soul level, like for me, I don't want to speak for anyone, with like what Pauline was saying, you know, that sacred feminine and that part of me that has just from lifetimes been injured is like still, you know, I'm a little afraid, and it's like, no, don't do it. Open your heart. So I really understand, Kimberly, what you were saying too. And I relate, like, how do we do it? Like, okay, we understand, like consciously, we understand what we're supposed to do, live an open-hearted life, but how do we really do it on a daily basis? So I'm with you.
Such a beautiful question, right? You just do it.
Some days are better than the others, right?
Some moments.
And there's grace for all of it.
So I think we have Bonnie and Marie before we. I mean, we'll
I
we're
could
gonna
share.
keep the screens on, but we won't be sitting in circle anymore. So
It's kind of hard to hear you guys. I have good hearing, but have my speaker up on my computer loudest and it's soft. You guys are soft. Yeah, this is really neat. Congratulations on 1 year. Wow, a year from now, Costa Rica. I've never been there. I don't know. That sounds actually good. You know, I've had a lot of growth and all, but it's interesting that, especially last few weeks, sharing at some of the different groups I'm in, I sound positive and everything seems definitely making progress, but it's weird. Then I go to sit and compose music and I'm thinking, yeah, I don't know, still getting stuck in thoughts, still kind of getting, I mean, part of me is like, okay, ready to move forward past all my blocks and brick walls and everything. And then I feel like I'm kind of either moving glacially slow or, I don't know, some things I'm getting done and some things I'm procrastinating terribly. So, I don't know. I guess I'm still in transition, but yeah, I've missed you guys because I'm not having regular meetings as much. Although I should get back to working with you guys again individually, that would be good. But yeah, still learning a lot and still finding myself. And I do find that when I get, most of the time, if I get down or depressed, at least I can, I'm more often able to see the good side of things. I'll say, wait a minute, yeah, okay, but look at this is good and that and that. And I had just finished working on an arrangement and I thought, oh, it was just a musical arrangement and it's so indecisive. And then it's like, actually, it really does sound good. Well, the guy said it. He enjoyed it. First, he kept saying, "Oh, well, let's tweak this and this and this," and he said, "But this is great." But yeah, just not being afraid to just be me and not being afraid, thinking, "Well, what will someone think or say?" I mean, just still finding my own self and finding my own power. So, but there's growth. So it's great to see you here and great to celebrate the 1 year. And wow, 2 years sounds exciting. The Costa Rica, wow, that'd be interesting. Definitely considering that. So anyway, I was trying to, I know Pauline, I'm not sure if we've maybe semi-met in person once or twice. And then I realized now, Grace, that's Grace, was Grace speaking, right?
Kimberly
Yeah,
Grace.
Grace is there.
Hi,
Yeah.
Bonnie.
Yep. So I was like, oh, okay, I recognize that voice. So anyway, it's great to be here. Thanks. Yeah.
Thank you, Bonnie. Thank you for celebrating with us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Marie from the
grass.
jungle.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Good morning.
Hola.
This is my first Zoom with you, and actually really what you're doing. So it's kind of like divine right timing. You know how they say, ask for it and it'll show up. But I thank you for creating the space for everyone here today. And I'm fortunate enough to get to jump on. I'm in San Diego, house sitting, so I wasn't able to be there in person or be cooking for you today.
Oh, they missed out this time.
Next time, Marie. Yes, next time.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So just, you know, everyone's talking about so many different things. There's been a lot going on. With COVID, for me, was an awakening. So I took it in a different way, and I was able to, which I already did anyway, was surround myself with a lot of wonderful, wonderful light beings, you know, right-minded people and friends. And so my circle and my tribe, I call it, has been there to support me and nourish me as I was for them. So I never looked at it as a negative or in fear. And people would think I was crazy because I wasn't living that, coming from that space. I'd have moments I was confronted with other people, but I was able to put my boundaries up and just say, this is who I am, this is what I'm doing. And I was also able to create during the time of losing all my funds, you know, catering and cooking, for a split second. I said, oh my gosh, what am I going to do now? And then, of course, it just shows up. You know, the universe just shows up in magnificent ways. And I was able to create something for our community, which I went and it was a series of things that happened that lined up perfectly. And I was able to create a food distribution out of my garage, which went kind of exploded into this church that I was already using for other purposes, feeding people here locally in Santa Monica, even though I'm in San Diego. And I was able to create the space and get the volunteers and the food and everything lined up with $0, zero, 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 zero. And I was able to feed 1,000 people a week during the pandemic, the intense part of it. And that was like, I didn't even think of it. It just happened. It was so orchestrated the way everything just happened. It was so beautiful. And it just filled my heart so much. And then with that, everything else just started showing up. And so, but now, 2 years later, I've had to slow down because I was on that high warp speed of energy. And I've had to let the food distribution, we consciously decided to let it go since things have now changed in 2 years, and able to step back and enjoy my life a little bit more and pick and choose what I want to do. So I'm kind of in that transitional space. What's the next step? Where do I go from here? I know I'm able to do that. Do I want to continue that path or create a different way? Plus I want to travel more. So it's a little challenging when you're doing a food distribution. You can't just get up and go. They rely on you. So it's been an interesting journey, an amazing journey, actually. And so I love that. It's funny, I was just telling my friend, how come no one's created a group? A chat, you know, where we could just have these conversations. And so here it is.
Here it is.
Here it is.
Women's Transcendation next week, if you want to come back.
Where are you at?
Online again in a week from today for Women's.
But are you in LA right now?
Oh yeah, we're in LA.
Oh, I'll be home next week.
Online. Yeah.
I'll be around next week.
We'll send you the information. Yeah, thanks
Please.
for taking us through your journey in the last couple of years.
Yeah, absolutely. And I marked my calendar for Costa Rica. I have family there.
Excellent.
So I've been bugging them to go visit, but you know how things are. So maybe by then they'll be open and to receive. Thank you.
Thanks, Maria. Glad you made it. Thanks for celebrating with us.
Yes.
Shade?
Yes. I want to hear from Steve, but if it's okay, Steve. We'll move to the shade first.
Yeah.
All right, close it out.
Okay. Yeah, or we can even angle it and see how loud. I know my voice is loud enough.
No, I think
No, we got to angle it.
let's
Okay.
close it
All right.
and, yeah.
Yes. Thanks again to Samuel and Pauline for hosting.
Yes,
We're going to move our circle here into the shade because the sun is just beating down on us. So we'll close out the online people. And thank you again for celebrating 1 year with Souls Enterprise. And next week, Women's Transcendation and Men's Transcendation. I guess it's all women. Women's Transcendation for you women there, 10 a.m. And yeah, save the dates of March 9th through 14th, 2-year anniversary celebration in Costa Rica. So yes, thank you online. See you soon.
Thank you.
Much love. Much love.
Thank you.
Thanks.